green, so now we're on. Yeah, we have new equipment, so it's really cool how that works. But yeah, the club meeting last month was on the 13th of March, and Joe Mano introduced our guest, who was Joe KD9 MBE, and we had a um, interesting presentation about solar, about you know how he worked through getting his solar set up, and it was interesting dealing with that. And then Ralph talked about the donated radio, which the club members can bid at the next meeting, and Dan will Shireman will introduce that. And then we adjourned our meeting after some announcements. So thank you.
I was just getting ready to say good evening to those who are online. I'm not sure who you are, but good evening. All right, Dan, thank you. Colin, would you like to give the treasurer's report?
Oh, no, I need the treasury. Main savings, we have 3,000. Oh, is it on? Am I live?
I'm looking at the green yet. You're going. You're good. You're good. You're good.
Okay. Okay. Main savings, we have $3,006.69. In the share draft, we had $1,630.20. There were about four dues that were paid that I added as part of that figure. We took $50 from the Springbrook repeater and moved over that. That brought that over to $1,680.20. We wrote a check tonight to Joe for video equipment for $855. That leaves us $825 in our share draft. So in the Springbrook repeater account, we have 737, and in our CD, we have $1,364.02.
Thank you, Colin. It's always appreciated. All right. Did anybody not get their name on the sign-in sheet? The late guy. Oh, yeah, this guy over here. Somebody's got to be late or last anyway. Alrighty. Thanks, Gary. Let's see here. We usually have a special event station every year. Is anybody, Steve, could you hang on a minute, please? Is anybody interested in doing a special event station this year? Because the board members and people who are taking care of business now are kind of up to here. And, so if anybody wants to do something, run that special event station would be very helpful to us. So think about it, unless you want to raise your hand right now. Oop, one at a time, one at a time. Who? Nice. Did you say somebody's hand was up? Gary? Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, think about it, and if you're interested, please, as soon as possible, get back to us. And also, we have the Lewis and Clark on the Trail event coming up in, was that June what? I got second. June 3rd? Okay. And you can do that from your own home. You don't have to go anywhere to do that one. So you might take part in that. I did it last year. I don't know who else did it. It was quite fun. I know Colin did it last year. So for that,
I need people that want to operate. You can operate during those days anytime or as many of those days as you want. I'm the administrator for our club on that, so you need to let me know, and I'll put you down. The times you might be Well, you can, once you're in there, you can put in there when you want to operate, possible frequencies you've been on, and the people that are out there that wanting to work Lewis Clark Trail on the air, they'll see you and they'll come running to work you. So it's a lot of fun. You don't have to sit there and say secure, secure, secure. I mean, you might a little bit, but basically, there'll be people that want to make a communications with you. Okay, now I want to do a hot mic thing.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Colin. All right, what else we got lined up here? Let's see. Oh, Richard's Tower removal. Now, there's going to be a fun project. So Richard's Tower's got to come down. And I don't know if you've ever been out to Richard's place to look at his towers. Pretty impressive, Richard. You didn't do that all in one day, did you? Yeah. Well, what I'm looking for here is anybody that would like to help take these towers down. We're going to gather together many people as we can. So if there's anybody here right now would like to take part in that, raise your hand. I'm going to do it. Kelly. You what? Well, there's 3 of them actually. Two in the backyard? Okay. Colin, were you going to say something there? No, then keep your hand down. All righty. Not yet. We're getting the people together. So Kelly would be one. Fred. Ralph. Fred Miller. Gary. Mark. I forgot your last name. I don't know. Is that it? Anybody else? Oh, guy way back. KKR. Gary. I don't know. Might not.
that comment, Gary?
No, after the next 2 weeks. Pat Daly. And you're supervising, right?
I'll try.
You'll try. Did I miss anybody? Did I miss anybody? No? Okay. Hey, thanks. I suspect when Seth gets going, that's going to be quite a party doing that. Enough guys get together. That's going to be a good time. So, tower climbers? Any other tower climbers around here? Okay. Okay. Well, great. Thanks. Yes. Well, it's probably going to be a 2-day deal, but we can start out. Well, right, exactly. Right.
Okay. How many would be available on the 29th of April? How many would not be able to? Okay, Ralph. You're still not available then? No, 29th is a Saturday. Yeah. Well, maybe it looks like to be the 29th then. Okay.
Been there, done that. I found it on the table over there when somebody pointed it out to me. All right. Coming up next, we have an auction tonight, and I'm going to let Joe handle that. So here you go, my friend.
You handed me a mic.
They're
Come
all
on
over
now.
the place.
All right.
They're
No,
like bugs.
You're muted, right, Dan?
Not yet.
There we go. Okay. So we have this wonderful FT738-6 that was donated by Richard for sale. For whatever we make off of it will go to the back into the club. We are asking for bids to be just written down and put into Dan's hat here. They will be gone through. We do have a starting bid of $100 that has actually already been met. So please feel free to go ahead and fill out a form if you're interested in it. It is a 2-meter rig, and if there's any questions on it, Ralph's your guy. He's the one that fixed it, so the forms are right next to it here. Yep. Let's see here. Did we? Yeah, we can do that too.
Exactly.
Just so you know, it's an all-mode 2-meter radio, 2 meter and 70 centimeter. It's dual band. Right. All modes. So it does single sideband, AM, FM, and CW. Yeah, it does AM.
Alrighty. Anybody still throwing in a bid? If not, we'll see who the big winner is. What's that? Yeah. I don't think it's going to. Yeah.
Okay, while we have this hot mic, we want to thank Joe because he worked on some of the production into things. And if you want to, after the meeting, to see what he's got here, you know, this is one of the devices to just make it smoother. And we appreciate the work he has on this because the whole, basically kind of like a studio, and it works with people that are watching this online and that sort of thing. What I'm trying to do is kill some time because Dan and Joe are the counters are going to be doing this. So, yeah. But, yeah. So I'm sure Joe wouldn't mind demonstrating at the end of the meeting or whatever.
Thank you, Dan. Alrighty. Looks like the bids are in. Come on, yeah. Whew, I don't know.
Right?
We don't have all night here. Okay, 140. What is that, AGC? Who's it? Who put the 140 in?
I know
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. So that's, I'll let you take it from there.
Alrighty. We do have a buyer, so thank you for that. You know who you are. Feel free to work out payment with Colin. He'll be taking care of that, right, Colin? Nodding. Thank you, sir. And I think that's all that we had for that. Anything else, Dan, before we get into program? Okay.
Okay, I'd like to bring up the issue of dues. If you haven't paid your dues yet, we would really appreciate if you could get those in so we can get that kind of move on down with the books sort of a thing. Yes, sir. I'm sorry? 35. Who's that? Oh, Bob Mullen. Okay. Well, just keep in mind, if you haven't paid your dues yet, please, as quickly as you can. We kind of like to move on with that sort of a thing. Huh? What is, I don't even know what the P.O. box is. What's the P.O. box of the club? Oh, here you go, Dan. Look, yeah. We'll make it easier than that here. Well, I'm going to hand this back to you, Joe, because you're the guy that's going to run this little program coming up. Yes. Yeah. Just try to sit down and relax, I dare you.
Why did I even? It's 1384, 1384
1384,
Dubuque,
Dubuque,
Iowa, and you gotta figure out what the downtown.
P.O. Box 1384. And what is it? Is it a two?
52004. 52004.
52004. Thank you, Dan. Here you go, Joe. You're all right.
So, full disclaimer, if tonight's presentation doesn't go well, love you all, but it's on you. Tonight is the show and tell night, so I was asking folks to bring in a project that you're working on, or if you have questions on a project that you might want to start, feel free to mingle amongst yourselves as well. Let's see, I do see a few things out there already, so I'm going to go ahead and grab Pat here and have you let us show us what's going on, what you got going.
Antenna for it. And I started looking around on YouTube and so forth and found this guy had real nice directions on how to make one of these. And it worked so well on the night of the fox hunt. Fox hunt didn't work because no matter where I turned it, there was Colin. It didn't matter. So I had an attenuator that didn't have enough attenuation to it. Ralph and I investigated that, and then Ralph gave me all the components to build one, which I haven't gotten to yet because it's too cold out in the garage during the winter time for that stuff. But anyway, it's real simple to build, and I can hook this up to my handheld radio and stand in my driveway in Farley and hit this repeater with both feet. Then I can turn around and point it to the Manchester repeater and hit that one also on what Baofeng says is 4 watts. More than likely it's closer to 2.5 or 3, but anyway, it's just amazing. This guy does a thing about this, and it's a Yagi. So if you look up Yagi, there's a whole story about this guy, the Japanese guy that actually came up with the theory behind the Yagi antenna. Yeah, and it's amazing what it'll do. One thing I was pretty proud of, when I decided to cut the tape, I was going to start cutting, and I thought, wait a minute. So I pulled it all the way out, and I locked on the spring, and then I unhooked it, and I started cutting from that end, so I still got a 16-foot tape left. So it was the most economical measuring tape I could find at Menards. I couldn't see any sense in paying 20 or 30 bucks for a tape I was going to chop up. But it's a lot of fun making it, and it was a lot of fun trying to do the fox hunt. We had a good time that night, although it didn't work very well. Well, worked too well, I guess is what I want to say. Where does every man go when he's trying to build something? Menards. Yeah. My kids don't even ask me what I want for Christmas. They just give me Menards gift cards.
You know, one of the guys I was associated with through Navy Mars, his name was Ed Menard. And he would tell me that he went to one of the Menard stores and with that name, for what you call, he got some funny looks. But he was a Army colonel in the Army Reserve besides.
Okay, that's enough of this hot mic stuff. Okay. Oh,
Thank you for that, Pat. Much appreciated you bringing that in and sharing it with us. I also see that Ed's got something for us. And if anyone else has something, please feel free to speak up.
okay.
if you're starting out in ham radio and you get the bug to get on high frequency after you get your general, this is an inexpensive way to go. This is an 80 through 10 meter all band sideband CW transceiver. Uses digital circuitry. The case that this has was $10, and I built the front and the back panels. The display was green, didn't like it, so I put a blue one in, and it's got white numbers on it. You can change the tuning and the mode. The function is all on one button. On the back side, it has 2 power transistors. It's supposed to be able to run up to 15 watts. This one, right out of the package without any tuning, was 8 watts on 40 meters. And my first contact from here in Dubuque was Riverside, California, with an S9. That's using my 40 meter inverted V. It comes already, the circuit board is already assembled. So all you have to do is add the connectors to it. It's designed to have an internal speaker, which if I ever get around to it, I can cut the holes and make a speaker on it. And that's what these 2 wires that aren't connected to anything go to. That's speaker. Or you can plug in the speaker externally in the back. The connector next to the speaker is for Morse code. The mic jack, standard on the front, 4-pin. And it comes with a mic. It also comes with it comes with a mic connector, but not this one. All the other connectors it came with. So you can choose to use a little mini SMA connector if you want, or you can use the SO239, which I prefer. And some guys like the BNC connectors, all of which will work with this radio. You can see it's smaller than the chassis, but it's a matter of, this was $10, and I could make it a little bit bigger than what the circuit board is. The radio has been upgraded. For $45, there's a single band 40 meter sideband. There's a single band 20 meter. There's a single band 17, a single band 15. And basically, when they came out with this one at $119, it replaced all the other $45 ones. So you got one radio that does everything. Now, just in case you're a Morse code person, this is a keyer paddle. This is a keyer. This paddle, the wires go over to this one, plug in the back. The other 2 wires go to your keyer jack on your transceiver. This, I made the whole thing, the keyer, from scratch. This is a 3D printed keyer. It uses neodymium magnets in the middle here, and they're the springs. They reverse polarity, so they push out, so it has tension. By changing these screws on the side, which I do have to change the one on this side because it doesn't key as easy as the other side, I will have it so I can adjust it. So these are available. These things print in just a matter of minutes. You can make the whole chassis. It looks like it's a lot of heavy weight. It's not. It's advisable when you're using it to hold it because it'll slide around on the table. So yeah, who was it that brought a little pad that I can cut out and glue to the bottom of it and it sticks to the table. And then it doesn't slide around. But again, this is a 3D print. So I just made this with my 3D printer. I also have, to go with the transceiver, it comes with a microphone. And they took a piece of PVC and they put this microphone in a little PVC pipe and a little button on it. I have a 3D printed regular handheld microphone with push to talk that I can print to go with the mic that came with it. So you don't have to have that little, excuse the word, Mickey Mouse mic. So anyway, 3D printing is fun, but this case, it did come up from Alibaba, I believe, for $10. And I now have the ability to print my own case for it, so I can make one even smaller than this that'll look pretty nice. I have a 5-element quad that I put together. Unlike Pat's antenna, it has about 13 dBs gain. So if you want to work 2 meters and really get some distance, 13 dBs is quite the thing, and a tremendous front to back ratio. That's it for me. Oh yeah.
Thank you, Ed. Yeah, see, that was kind of the point. Sneak it in there. You don't even realize it's there, and everyone can hear you just fine. Anybody else for tonight? I have Ralph and Colin. I saw Ralph first, so we'll go there.
There you go. All of my projects. I haven't had time to do projects. I've been too busy doing YouTube videos. So if you want to see my projects, go to my YouTube channel. Plain and simple. Been learning a lot of cool things about Q. No, not Star Trek. But Q and all kinds of stuff. I'm starting a new series now, which will be a project. It's going to be an audio mixer, free input mixer. I'm going to go through the whole process from concept through the design process, through how to put into schematic capture, to how to design the PC board and the whole business. And no, this isn't an advertisement. This is my project. But it kind of is an advertisement too. But anyway, there you go.
Thank you for that, Ralph. And hey, it's an advertisement, but that's okay. You're talking to radio stuff mostly in your channel, so we'll take it. Let's see here. Colin.
What do I do with this? Well, I gotta use both hands. Okay, so, I'm quite interested in emergency communications, and sometimes you might find yourself in a situation where you have to go somewhere and you're in a building and you don't have an outside antenna that you can put up for 2 meters, and you want something better than the antenna on your handheld. So I've got this one here. I've got an SMA there. And I've used a barrel connector. You don't want a barrel connector unless you have to. But this is what it looks like. You got some coax. And then you get down here and you've got some TV. There's a J-pole made with TV lead. And I don't know. We'll just see if we can do anything with this here real quick. All right. I just chunked the repeater here. So, but of course, we're right under the repeater, the antenna anyway. So, you can take this off, of course, and if you've brought in your 2-meter rig, then you just connect here, and of course this end here hangs up to something on the ceiling, or you can get one of those what are they called, command systems. Put them on the glass, connect it, and away you go. We've got the same thing here, although this is with a BNC. Got smaller coax. Don't ask me what size of coax it is, but I've got little what do we call them? Yeah, toroids there, and this one also put a string through and hang it up. So of course I just have a BNC on this one. It's not. I'd have to have another adapter to. But so there you go. And you can make these pretty easily. Is it hot?
Yes. It's on. Don't blame me for wanting to get rid of that. Thank you, Colin. And then you said those are pretty easy to make yourself. What kind of wire did you use? Just a flat wire for the antenna itself?
Well, usually you probably don't see this much. Probably don't see this much anymore. But this is the old television lead. Yeah, twin lead. Yeah, I've got a bunch of it. If somebody wants to make one, yeah. It's just TV twin lead.
Perfect. Thank you. Hang on, Fred. I have long legs, but only so long.
I'm used to this through karaoke. On your coax, everybody knows I'm a big know-it-all, right? That's RG174. It's very, very lossy. So you don't want to have too long a run of that, or you won't have much left at the end.
Is that 50 ohms?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me now? Anyway, so that's what I'm putting together, and I don't have it all together yet. I'm still waiting on some parts, but just all in one right there. I was gonna try to get the antenna to fit in there, but I don't think I'm gonna. So especially not with the coax, but that's all I got. What's that? Yeah, no. It's gonna be an end-fed half wave. I like them because they're easy. Huh? This is it depends on the frequency a little bit. It's rated for 5 watts is about what you get out of it. I've noticed that at 20, between 20 and 40, if I go to 40, I lose, I don't know, like quarter watt, a half watt or something like that. But it also depends on the battery you're running. If you're running one of those LiPo 4s that run around 13.8, it shoots out about 7 watts to 8 watts, but the manufacturers, I don't think they like anything over that, because otherwise it's gonna smoke your radio.
Receive is pretty good. I wish it had a little more filtering so I could get a little narrower with it. So because I'll hear other conversations going on, where I got a little bit bigger radio that does a little bit better. I can really narrow in, and I don't have to listen to everybody else talk. But I don't know. That's my project. With this radio, with the 5 watt, all over the country. I've up into Canada a little ways. With the other radio I have that's 10 watts, I don't know why, but there's a guy in Portsmouth, England. I can just nail him every time he's on. I don't know what it is. There's some magic between Sherrill, Iowa and Portsmouth, but I get him all the time on CW running just 10 watts and just a simple NFET half wave. Yeah, well, 5 watts for CW is 2 RPM. I'm cheating with 10, so that's it. Yeah. No, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm still very slow on CW, but I recommend it. It's if you got the time. You know, Dan's getting better, and I gotta keep plugging away at it, a little bit faster. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Much appreciated. Anybody else for this evening? Yes, sir, Kelly.
It's green? Okay. Well, I got a couple of different projects. This one I'll just show you real quick. I break stuff a lot, and so I wanted to have some way to be able to not just fix my stuff, but also to do any rigging that we have to do while we're in the field, emergency situation or something. So I wasn't sure if you guys were aware of these or not. It's just a Ryobi, you drop your drill battery in there, and now you got a soldering iron, and so I threw a few other things in the kit that you'd need out there. And probably the most important part is my fire dowser right here. But that's, well, I've got one of those, but it doesn't put out fires.
Okay, a question. I'm getting next to his mic. I'm not planning on kissing him. Okay. Oh, well, we all are. Okay. When you put a kit like this, do you normally have everything you need? Because when I grab some stuff and go out there, I usually have everything except what I need.
Well,
So
that's a good question.
Are you pretty good at getting the right stuff?
For the first 5 or 6 times, no. But now that I've used it probably 20 or 30 times, usually out in the driveway or the backyard or something, I find that everything I need is in here. So anybody wants to dig through it, you're welcome to. It's basically, the stuff you'd have on your workbench. But I can never find my workbench because it's always piled. So this is a lot easier to take out and do stuff with. You want to borrow this?
Refill your water bottle.
A lot.
Was that the water bottle or the flask? Okay, not the starter.
This is really clunky. My goal here was to be able to put together something that I could take camping and stuff like that. It's in a process, so. Okay. So this is just an old Army rucksack, one of the bigger ones. And so I've got, what is this? Bear with me. See if I can remember what's in here. So like here's a 10-meter end fed. Here's what is this one? 40-meter end fed. I've got some other antennas in here. Ralph helped me make one for near vertical incidents, and that was a dipole. We had some good luck with it. And then there's some coax, and here's my end fed, what do you call that thing? I got these on Amazon for like $10 for 12 of them. I don't have any idea.
Those were just
I can look on my Amazon account and find out.
Kelly.
But I've got a bunch of them still if anybody wants one.
Those were just kite string holders, correct?
That's right. That's what they were. Yeah. You looked up for kite string. So. That was more fun, yeah. And then I got some extra wire and power cables and stuff. Nothing fancy, first aid kit. But the power of it all rests in this big mess that is really embarrassing after following Gary, so. Sorry. Might injure myself pulling it out of here. Yep. So I got a little Zygo G90 here, and my mic and stuff is in this little box with pencils and whatnot. There's a battery here. Of course, that's obvious, but this thing weighs way more than I wanted it to. The whole rig together is like almost 40 pounds. So I haven't been out in the field a whole lot with it. I've done it most from my backyard and stuff. But thanks to some advice from some friends like that battery you mentioned, it's on my wish list, and I'm hoping to get this reduced to this pretty easily. So that will help a lot, and that'll give me room that I can actually take along camping gear then. Kind of looking forward to that. Maybe a lunch, yeah, you never know. In case I'm out there for more than 3 days.
What's your battery, Kelly?
Oh, what is it? I don't know. Here, I'll just lift it up where you can see it. It's plenty heavy. It's just some lead acid sort of thing. Sealed lead acid, thank you, yes. Especially the way I'm using it. But I'm pretty new to all this stuff still, so trying to grow into it. But I've made all the coasts, so I'm happy with that. I haven't gotten overseas. I've listened to some.
Batteries on sale for a 12 amp hour one for like $100.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, they're expensive.
Yeah.
And the 12 amp hour is pretty good. And I forget how many times you can recharge them. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's like over 1,000 times, and you'll be pushing up daisies, I think, before that. LiPo 4. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it's a Bioenno 12 amp hour. So.
Good to know. Huh.
Always great to hear about companies with good customer support too. Thank you.
I forgot to show you one thing. For my end fed. Oh, wow. I can poke somebody's eye out for about 30 feet with this thing. Have you guys seen these fishing poles? And that goes on the top of it then, and drive that into the ground, and I can set this up for the end fed and get some slope to it. Nope, just gravity or force. Yeah, they just kind of twist together and hold, and it's worked out pretty well for me so far. Oh, jeez. Sorry, somebody's gonna get hurt here. What's our insurance situation? Oh. Yeah, there you go. Well, that's gonna have to take. I'm not used to opening it up this way. Yeah, we'll get her figured out here. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Much appreciated. Is there anyone else that wanted to share anything tonight? All right, no one's jumping at that one, so we'll go ahead and hand it back to Dan.
Thank you, Joe, and everybody that has participated. Yes.
May 6th, because the testing session. So those that want to get their extra class, general class, technicians, May 6th at Red Cross.
That's at 9 a.m., right?
9 9 a.m.
Thank you, Ed. By the way, thank all of you that have brought your projects in tonight. I do have a 6-foot diameter magnetic loop I'm working on, but I just couldn't see packing that thing in here on top of my van and wrestling it in the door, so I left it home. But don't worry, it's probably going to be around for next year and probably the following year because I've run into some snags on it. But anyway, does anybody else want to add anything to the meeting tonight? Yes, Joe.
I would like to add one more thing. As you all know, Field Day is coming up in June, and I'm going to be looking for volunteers to work it. I would prefer if it didn't fall on just like Dan, myself, and Colin. Gary, I know you know how to at least run CW, so come out for us, would you? And as well, if you're working CW, we'll be glad to have you. And that is the, 27th of June?
20, it's last 2 days.
Yeah, it's the last weekend, full weekend of June. So go ahead and mark your calendars. If you're interested, feel free to reach out to myself, Dan, Colin, any one of us, and we'll be glad to go ahead and get you on a list and help you with any questions you might have. Thank you. 24th and 25th of June for Field Day.
And that'll be at Flora Park, correct?
No, Dan, Red Cross for that.
Red Cross. Oh, that's right.
Yep.
We wrestled that one through, didn't we? What's that?
The picnic's at Flora Park.
Yes, okay. All right, well, if that is it, I want to thank anybody who is on the, what do they call this new system, Joe? YouTube, watching. Good evening to you. I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. If we can get a motion to adjourn. One, in a second. Any all yeas, any nays? All right. Good evening and thank you for all showing up.